Hey, do you remember the Buick Encore? Don't worry, it's all good. I totally forgot about it too. But did you know that the Buick Encore had the same 4-cylinder turbo engine as the Chevy Sonic Turbo? But what's really hysterical is when you put an upgraded turbo on a Buick Encore. If you were to ask me what the most unlikely car platforms for modification were, this would definitely probably be in the top 5. But this Buick Encore has an upgraded turbo by ZZP and makes all the right noises. With an exhaust that exits out of the rear bumper, this is definitely something you would never expect. So what's it like driving this upgraded turbo grandpa grocery getter? Let's go for a drive and find out. Today, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a big turbo Buick Encore. Yes, out of all the cars in the world, throwing a bigger turbo on this thing should be interesting. Buick, to me, has a really weird reputation. Also, what do you guys think about Buick's new logo? I don't know how to feel about it. All they did was remove the circle and move the flags down. Let me know in the comment section below. That is so weird. Here we have a Buick Encore that has essentially the same engine that's found in the turbocharged Chevy Sonic, just in a bigger package that is stereotypically more for old people.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
But Buick, to me, has a very strange reputation nowadays. For the longest time, it's always been kind of seen as the old people brand. But at the same time, there's been some really hidden gems throughout Buick's history. I'm actually filming today with ZZP or ZZPerformance, so huge thanks to them for letting me come up and drive some of their cars. The last time I was up here, I drove their big turbo Buick Regal, and that was a really eye-opening experience for that 6-cylinder engine. That 6-cylinder engine that originally came supercharged, throwing a turbo on it, made some really cool things happen, to be honest. What? Grandpa getting them groceries today? And it was just a really neat experience to see the ecotech side of things, even driving a 300 wheel horsepower Chevy Sonic that had this engine in it. But here we have a Buick Encore. The Buick Encore, to the untrained eye, is pretty much just another commuter car. And the first thing you notice right when you get inside is that, yep, GM has their paws all over it. The steering wheel is very similar to some of the Camaros, and maybe, actually no, it's more closer to like the Chevy SS now that I really stare at it. And the interior has all the basic things you'd ever really need, but it has the wood trim here. However, what I will say is that this thing makes a lot of cool noises. What is done to this Buick Encore to make all this cool stuff happen? All right, well, first things first, we have a Z04 turbo from ZZP, which is essentially bigger turbo kit. Then you have bigger injectors, you have an intercooler kit, you have a turbo back exhaust that comes out of the rear bumper to the side. There's a side exit on a Buick Encore. Not on my bingo card. Definitely not on my bingo card anytime soon. It's got some all-terrain tires on it, so yeah, it can be a little loud when you're driving down the street, but I've definitely driven worse off-road or all-terrain tires that are much louder than this. But yeah, there is a slight hum in the background if you have not noticed. But this is actually also all-wheel drive, so you can really put that power down. There is a fun factor in the sonics of that front-wheel drive spinning and stuff like that, but here we got, you know, the real race car, all-wheel drive. is such a peculiar feeling. Every time. If you go like 50% throttle or so with this, that's where this thing really shines for like the smile factor right here. Here we go. Squeeze. They're actually pretty easy to install as well. You can install these at home. It's not like one of those things where you're gonna have to be doing a whole bunch of crazy work to it. You could do this at home. It's not a big deal. And the Chevy Sonic, right, being an Ecotech platform as well, if you're familiar with that, you'd be familiar with this. Now, this is an automatic transmission. It does have a manual mode in it, but it's more like the buttons, right? But I've just been hitting it, you know, in the auto mode just to see what happens. Now I'm gonna be downshifting, dude. Whoa. All right, 3, 2, 1. Woo! I could do that all day long. And what's really fun about that, it's in a small package, it's a small engine, so it's very easy to work on as well. It's weird, it's like one of the most unorthodox sleepers I've ever driven. I drive a lot of weird stuff. This one's up there. I think what's so surprising about it is that since it's all-wheel drive, it's actually usable. A lot of the times when you drive platforms that are kind of goofy or weird, it's more like for a cool factor, right? Or just to say you did it. This is actually usable and practical. That's what's so bizarre about it. When I see a Buick Encore, it never crossed my mind that it would have the same turbo engine as the Chevy Sonic. It also has bigger brakes on it, so it obviously gives you a little bit more confidence there. Guys, things are getting pretty serious now. My traction control's off. Yep, it definitely needs bigger brakes, or needed bigger brakes. I'm very glad it has bigger brakes. And it's so funny when you get on it, or when you nail the brakes, it just pitches forward, right? I think for a lot of enthusiasts, the Regal was kind of like, that's the one, right? For us 90s and early 2000s enthusiasts, having a supercharged V6 from the factory, having essentially the same stuff from the Pontiac GTP, but in a tuxedo. But this has proven it once again to me that you can do something cool with a Buick. The screen does sit in kind of a weird spot though. It sits on top of the dash but very far from the driver. So you have to reach, like I have lanky, long arms and I cannot touch the screen when I'm sitting all the way back at all. I have to lean forward. And imagine if you were old. I mean, who would be old and own a Buick? That would never happen. You talk to enthusiasts, Buick is not the brand that come to mind first. Almost never. This has shown, once again, it's possible. And there's really no in-between for the brand either for me. You know, it's like I either think of a beige or gold or silver Buick, or I think race car. Like there's no in-between. Oh yeah, not to mention either, it's also got Sparco wheels on a Buick. A stock one just went by. We are not the same. Big turbo Buick Encore. What did I think of it? I think it's a really interesting perspective of, once again, using what you got. Not everybody has the availability to have a cool sports car or whatever, or they need something that fits their needs with 4 doors and room and space. This meets in the middle very much. And it was a ton of fun to drive, surprisingly, especially with the all-wheel drive system. I think that's what surprised me the absolute most, was driving this thing around with all-wheel drive, with the big turbo, not spinning pretty much at all, and just really having a fun time. And on that note, huge thanks to ZZP. If you are interested in a turbo kit like this for your Ecotech engine or any other Chevy platform they work on, make sure to go to the link in the description below. Huge thanks to them. They're great guys. I love working with them. And I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.